Dangal greetings, sir. I am Renniel Anenias from 2ITC, and I will be showcasing the functionalities based on the given requirement and also showing the additional features we provided in our web application. Let's start by showing how the web app works, and let's first explore what's in the user interface. In the user interface, or when you start the web application, you can see that a button or some sort of form can be seen in the web application. It asks the user to input how many bingo card and the user wants to generate. There's also short description of what bingo is below the form. You could see that there's a box or a bingo card on the bottom of at the bottom of the web application. Now, let's try to insert a number on the generate card. As you can see, it generated a bingo card based on the input of the user. Let's try the draw button if it is working. Once the user clicks the draw ball button, it will automatically highlight if the number drawn is matched with the existing bingo cards. Once the user successfully completed the block winning pattern, it will automatically announce the winner and highlight the whole card. The drawable button will disappear and the user may play once again after clicking the clear button, which resets the div and go back to the user interface or in the starting web application page.
Dangal greetings, sir. I am Jhounelle R from 2ITC, and I will be explaining some of the major parts of the HTML and JavaScript code in our project. We use two classes. In the body section, there is a main container named main bingo that contains a header, body, line, container, box, and closing line. The main bingo div acts as the main container of the interface, which what you can see when you open the project. The line container and closing line divs are the lines with circles that acts as the separator. The other divs like game bingo will appear once the user generates a bingo card because currently its display is set as none and will be set to block, therefore it is not visible. Then after we proceeded on doing the functionality by connecting the bingo card.js and bold draw.js using script element. Inside body section, there is a form with the text input and a button. The user enters the number of bingo cards they want to generate, and the button executes a JavaScript function called generateCard. The bingo card generated is displayed in the div with the class GameBingo.
Dangal greeting, I am Faulmino Royette M, and I will be explaining the functionality provided in the HTML program which is connected to the bingo card class and drawball class. First, we declare global variables to be accessed in a function. This is what inside the main bingo div after the declaration if we try to view it in the console log. Note, we use document.getElement by class name, the div, and since it will return multiple elements, we selected the first or only element of the class to access it. To access all of the elements in the div class, we learn and follow this through W3 School on how to execute it. The generate card function consists of validation if the user entered values that is not a number as well as numbers that are equal or less than 0. Once the user successfully entered a valid input, the main bingo div, which is the interface, will be hidden by applying equal none into its style display. Display it basically hides all of the elements in the div of main bingo. You will learn it again on the W3 School. After that, it will proceed to this for loop, which initialize the object bingo and calls the generate matrix to make a card that has number as well as displaying the draw card.
Greetings, I am Roland Romo and I will be explaining how the drawable functions work and what is the logic behind it. First, it initializes the object ball draw to be able to have the properties of ball draw. Class, then we proceed on the drawable method. First, we use mat.lore and set its range to 1 to 75. Since a bingo contains numbers from 1 to 75 only. Adding 1 to the result of mat.lore, open parenthesis, mat.random, open and close parenthesis, multiply by 75 and close parenthesis. Shifts the range to be between 1 and 75. And check if the ball draw's length is less than or equal to 75, then it will proceed on adding the ball as well as marking the card and checks if the card is valid to be a winner.
Greetings, I am Martinez. I will be explaining the function and code behind the clear button or clear cards function. The function first displays a confirmation message asking the user if they really want to exit. If the user clicks OK, the function proceeds to clear the game board by hiding the game bingo div element and showing the game bingo div element. It also resets the input text field, clears the output area for displaying bingo cards, and empties the bingo card matrix and the list of drawn balls. Finally, it resets the output area for displaying drawn balls to its default state and sets the focus back to the input text field. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Jeshua Baronia and I will briefly explain what's inside our CSS. First, in order to have a decent font, we use Google Font. We learn how to use Google Font in W3 School website as well. Now proceed with the other CSS styling. This interface is a div container that contains the input element and single button element. We manipulated the design of it in CSS, as well as the buttons and input. This particular line is also a div inside the line container. It has a circle div and line div, which is responsible for separation of contents to make it more pleasing and beautiful upon viewing. We learned how to do this box container in YouTube and applied it to make it more interesting. Here is the reference of the video we based our design in.
Greetings, I am Jeshua Saladaga and I will be explaining the rest of the CSS inside the game bingo. Here's what the user can see upon generating a number of video card. It contains bingo card and ball drawn balls, and history as well as clear buttons. This was manipulated in CSS. Starting with the button draw ball and button clear. One with a blue background color and the other with a red background color. Its position is placed as fixed so that it doesn't be affected by other elements. Drawn ball containers. This is container that shows the history of ball draw. It also has a border and overflow set to show a scroll bar if needed. Winner container and winner container B. These are elements that will appear when a certain card wins or when a card manages to win. The display is set to none and will be set to black after a card wins.
Greetings everyone, I am Janella C Lorque and I will be showcasing what's the logic behind bingo card class. So as per the instructions, it is required that a bingo card has a property of matrix, which is a multidimensional array So the constructor open and closed parenthesis method initializes an empty matrix array that will later hold the values for the bingo card. And the method generate matrix, and the logic behind it is generates a random set of values for each column of the card. So the method does this by iterating over the columns, and for each column generating 5 random numbers that fall within a specific range. So the numbers are added to the corresponding column and stored in a two-dimensional array. And the center square of the card is designated as free and that given a random number.
Dangal greetings, I am Gideon Cura and I will continue to explain functionalities in Bingo Card class and Ball Draw class. The Draw Card method. The Draw Card method generates the HTML code to display the bingo card on a web page. The method creates an HTML table with 5 rows and 5 columns. The first row contains the letters B, I, N, G, and O as headers, while the other rows contain the numbers or the word free generated by the generate matrix method. The HTML code is returned as a string. The constructor method initializes the ball drawns array, which will keep track of the numbers drawn during the game. The drawball method generates a random number between 1 and 75 and checks if it has already been drawn. If not, it adds the number to the ball drawns array, marks the corresponding cell on the bingo card using the mark card method, and checks for a winner using the check winner method.
Dangal greetings. My name is Cariel Soriaga from ITEW2 and I'm here to discuss the mark card. The mark card will be our key to determine if any other bingo card has the winning patterns we decided to use. Class list and add mark to that specific cell. We'll learn how to use class list in W3 School and JavaScript tutorial. Here are the references. Last method would be the check winner method in order to identify if the winner card has the winning pattern combination. We use for loop to iterate around the cells and check if a certain cells is marked by utilizing class list and contains. Note, it returns true, so if one of these return false, it will not proceed on assigning the boolean variable is win to true. Once a card successfully have the winning pattern, the boolean variable is win will be turned to true and the card ID variable will have the current bingo card number, then proceed on announcing the winner. That's all. Thank you.